Hey guys, this is Sumir, and I bring to you the third episode of the Rider's DNA. And today I have with me Kanchan,
Hi.
Kanchana Ganga
Yes.
to be specific. Kanchan is also based in Mysore, like I am, and Kanchan has quite a few things that I would say are to her credit. She's not only a phenomenal biker, but she's also a yogini, and she's been practicing yoga and she teaches yoga. She's been doing it for a very, very long time. I don't want to steal her thunder, so I'm going to let her talk about it. Really nice. I feel really nice to feature Kanchan. So, without any further ado, I am going to go to Kanchana and request her to give us a little bit of an introduction about herself and what she does. And the main thing about the rider's DNA is what makes them tick as far as biking is concerned, and then the other side of their life. So, what else do they do? We are not on the bike 24 hours a day, right? So, over to you, Kanchan. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Namaste, everybody. It is really nice to be here, talk to you about biking and more. Uh, my name, as you told, is Kanchana Ganga. By profession, I'm a yoga teacher, and by passion, I'm a motorbiker. Along with this, I have side hobbies. I do a lot of gardening, sustainability. I do art. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay, I think that's a very brief introduction, but we'll get a little bit more into that. You're born and brought up in Mysore, is it?
Mysore, yes.
Very nice. And you started yoga. We'll talk a lot more about yoga because when we were prepping for this, or rather when we met to see what we could talk about, we had a few common, well, not interests, but we had a few common views about yoga. We'll come to that. But biking, tell us your story, how you started biking and what bike do you ride first of all?
I own an Avenger 220, which is 11 years old now. She's been with me. She's my first bike. I've covered about 2 lakh kilometers on this bike. And biking, I always had a little bit of scent of biking from my father.
Mhm.
He's a biker, and he was like a touring kind of biker in his time. So I always saw him as an inspiration. But to own a bike, that's a very beautiful story.
Okay, we'd love to hear it.
So I wanted to go to this particular restaurant which was on Mysore Bangalore Highway, which was not there in Mysore.
Okay,
So I asked a friend of mine to take me on his bike.
okay.
But at that point of time, he said, "Oh, nin gadi dialanin hogu." I had a pep back then, a scooty pep, pink one. So I was like, I could go, but then it would take me all day. So when he told me that, somewhere I felt my self-respect was laid down. And that thought came into my mind that, if I had my own bike, I would not ask anybody else. I would be independent on my own. I could go wherever I want, just forget any restaurant. So that triggered me to get my own bike.
Fantastic. And you've had this is the bike you bought.
Yes.
And you've had it 11 years and 200,000 kilometers. Wow. So you've ridden what in and around Mysore? You've done Leh Ladakh.
I've done Ladakh solo. Recently,
Solo.
yes.
Nice.
Just in January, I covered Northeast.
Okay.
I covered 3 states. That also was solo.
Okay.
So in India, I've covered very much almost all major cities, apart from I think 4-5 states now. Once I cover them, I'm done with India.
So you've covered the Northeast. Which are the 3 Northeast states?
I did Assam, Nagaland, and Meghalaya.
So I was planning a Northeast ride with a friend of mine who you also know, but I kind of ditched. So I wanted to do the 7 sister states, and I thought we'll do it in like 15-20 days. And people said, "No, are you crazy? You're going to need at least a month and a half to really get the whole experience." And unfortunately, I couldn't find time. I was in the middle of stuff with work and other stuff, so I couldn't do it. But tell us about the experience. So give us a few pointers about what it is like riding in the Northeast, and that was also solo.
Yeah.
Wow. So
solo.
share those experiences with us.
So Northeast, I was expecting that to be a little similar to all my other rides, but very frankly, it was completely different. One, I had a little bit of problem for the veg food, but apart from that, people were really nice. They were very, very, very friendly, and each state is different. So even I planned for the whole 7 sisters in a month, but as I kept traveling, I ended up staying more and more in same place.
Right.
Number of days like that kept increasing, and so I could just finish 3. So I thought, let me justify for wherever I am. And especially in Nagaland, I went to the Myanmar border.
Mm.
And when I was in Meghalaya, I went to the Bangladesh border.
Wow. Nice.
And one of my video went viral. The Bangladesh
Nice.
and India border I've made,
Okay.
which right now has I think 11 point something million views.
Right.
So in Nagaland, so a couple of my other friends had gone before. They had given me a little bit of rough reviews about Nagaland, so I was a little skeptical about it.
Mhm.
But now it has improved a lot. People there are very good to you because they know that you are tourists, and from you they get money
Okay.
with the stay, food, and everything that we end up spending over there. So we ended up going to this place called Longwa.
Mhm.
There is the king there,
Okay.
who is the chief of 25, 30 tribes, 5 being in India and 25 being in Myanmar.
Oh.
And in India, that is the only place where you can have dual citizenship.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, this is
Myanmar
new.
and
I
India.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's go to Nagaland.
Yes. And I met the headhunter. They are called headhunters because they hunt heads. So only right now, I think 3 of them are alive.
So when you say they hunt heads, you're saying they're cannibals?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Also some rivalry as well,
Mm.
the tribal rivalry. So right now there are 3 of them alive.
Oh.
Of course, they're not hunting anymore.
Mhm.
But I did meet them. They're very old.
Okay.
But when you look at him, you don't get that vibe that he was a headhunter.
Really?
Very sweet old guy.
They don't look intimidating.
Not at all.
They don't look like they're going to eat you alive.
No.
Wow. Okay. All
And
right.
then there was a gun maker. So locally they make guns.
Okay.
Every household over there has guns.
All right.
And I also got an opportunity to shoot it.
Uh-huh.
So it just fired to the air. And lovely place. It is beautiful. The nature is very raw. The roads are really bad. It is good for bikers in some view. A lot of stretches like this only. Very bumpy, and yeah, it's very dusty too. It was very nice. Meghalaya has its own beauty.
And you did it on this bike, or?
Yes, this bike only. Yeah, I took this.
So you didn't hire a bike there.
No.
So you took this
I
all the
took
way.
my bike. Yeah.
Wow. So did you train and then you rode all the way?
Private courier, I shipped it.
Nice.
Train, I could not because it was there from Bangalore. So
Right.
I thought it's just extra. I could do it from here. So I started from Guwahati.
Mhm.
From Guwahati, I took the circuit around and I came back to Guwahati. Left the bike there and flight back.
Wow. Nice. And you were there for about a month, you said.
1 whole
Yeah, and this whole thing about, as they say, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride, right? So
Yeah.
you clearly want to pack in as much as you can, but then you realize, oh no, it's kind of a clear case of over endeavor. Tell me about safety. How safe did you feel? Did you feel afraid? The reason why, in fact, I am encouraging a lot of gender diversity on this podcast is because there are a lot of women, girls who are doing a lot of riding. And they think it's a very simple thing to buy a bike and start riding solo. And there have been incidents and there have been mishaps. So, what is the words of caution or advice you would give to girl and lady bikers who want to take this up? Is it safe? What are the precautions you take? How do you conduct yourself? Biker girl is a very wow biker girl, so everyone's kind of attracted to a biker girl. So can you talk us through that, and if you've had any experiences that you'd like to share, it'd be very nice to kind of guide other people as well.
So very frankly, in my mind, I had a lot of stigmas of Northeast
Mhm.
because same couple of my friends had told this, but I was prepared somewhere that if anything goes wrong, I'm ready. I always carry pepper spray with me. That
Okay.
is always there.
All right.
I have a knife with me. So, and that too, it is at the reach of my own, like
Mhm.
for a second I can remove it out.
Right.
That is one very important thing. You cannot keep it inside the bag, zipped up and everything.
Correct.
So like that, I was somewhere ready.
Have you ever had an opportunity to take it out or
Luckily,
use it
no.
or threaten somebody with it?
Not yet.
Okay, a dangerous woman. All right. Go ahead.
So like this, I was prepared because I was doing solo. Right?
Mhm.
But luckily, nothing like that happened. I felt very safe. Everything happened really smooth. My only issue I felt was the Nagaland road.
Right.
So I tied up with Kerala riders I met in Majuli,
Right.
which is one of the biggest river islands.
Okay.
So they were going to this place. So I said, can I tag along? They went. I went after they had gone.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 days I was with them in the Nagaland roads. Apart from the roads, safety-wise, nothing like that happened. People were really good.
Sorry. So where were we? We were talking about your experiences, safety, precautions that girls need to take. All right. So go ahead.
And also one very important thing is that you need to lose fear. It's like, you manifest fear.
Jo dar gaya so mar gaya.
Yeah. So you got to remove the fear and you got to take the step. See, and if something has to go wrong or bad, it can happen where you are. In our own schools, the gully next to you, things can go wrong.
Yeah.
So you have to lose that fear and you have to step out. That's one thing for sure.
Mm.
And as I said, be precautious. So you carry pepper spray. I think every girl should carry, or even boys also, because
You never know.
yeah, anything happen. Anything can happen.
Right.
So these ways, apart from that, they were very fascinated to see a girl on the bike.
Mm.
They used to give very good responses, and they would come and take pictures with me.
Mm-hmm.
So all that was there. So somewhere I felt I was also, sort of inspiring them or motivating them.
Correct.
To be more independent, and even ladkiyan bhi ye kar sakti hai.
Right. No, in general, that's been my experience. So I try to stay off the highways. I do a lot of highway miles, but as far as possible, I try to go off the highway. So when you hit these small little towns and villages, people look at you in awe. They'll gather around you. They want to take pictures with you. In fact, I have friends in this town just when you come off Jog Falls, just before you come to Karwar. Now, every time I pass by, the entire village gathers to say hi. So there's this chai ka dukan there, and chai is on the house, and the ban maska is on the house, because they're just so enamored, So yeah, so I think it's very inspirational, seeing people like you. Uh, Apart from safety, so what are your tips and tricks and your cheat sheet as to staying, accommodation, fuel, spare parts, stuff like that? Because in such a long solo ride, so how do you kind of gear up for that?
Well, most of the spare parts I carry, whatever I can, and I've learned very limited mechanism of fixing my bike on myself. That is something that I've been working on. Apart from that, see, I usually contact people who have gone before and recent.
Right.
So because anybody can give you a story 2 years back and now it will be completely different.
Invalid.
So talk to people who have gone in recent times, and aajkal it has become very easy because so many bloggers are out there giving so many,
tips.
And live updates and all. So like that, I make a checklist of where all I can go and stay. So stay mostly mine in Northeast had been homestays.
Okay.
And hostels.
Right.
So hostels are very, very safe, and as I said, people there are very friendly. So homestays also was very good. I didn't have any issues there. But yeah, before going to any stay, I would check the reviews.
Right.
Because there were some 2 places which already shut, but online it was showing. So I would check the recent reviews. So Google was my guru.
I had this experience. I was actually going to Goa, and Gokarna, there was this camping site and booked. They took the payment online, and when I went there, there's nothing there at all. So yeah, I've had these experiences. I guess this happens everywhere.
Yeah.
What about, getting onto the bike and buying a bike. So what was the scene at home, parents?
Oh, it's just like every typical household in India. There's girls don't ride motorbikes. It happened in my family also, but it was a big struggle. I convinced them a lot, and there was a point of time when I went to Uppas Satyagraha also. I actually didn't eat. I was like, no, I want a bike. They did not agree. So I started doing part-time job. I was like, I'm going to earn my own bike. And I had enough money to buy a second-hand RX.
Right.
As a second-hand bike, basically. But I could not just buy any second-hand bike. And I wanted, if it was second-hand, then go for RX. It's vintage and it's like the bike. So I told Dad like that, listen, I have enough money to buy a second-hand RX and I'm going to go for it. So that's when he actually, I think he felt, okay, this girl is crazy about bike. So chalo. So he promoted me to get a bike, and I said that whatever I've earned, I gave it as uske upar aap cover kar do.
Right.
So that was specifically for the bike.
Correct.
So I felt very happy to do that also and proud. So I took it, but then relatives. My parents started becoming quite okay with me
Open mind.
biking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
they were encouraging me, but relatives not so much. And slowly, but even till today, once I go for some ride and I come back, they tell everybody in, like, our circle, oh, nan magal hog bandlu, all that is there.
Translate, please.
Yes. My beti jaake karke aayi, my
So they're
daughter
proud
did
of you
this.
now.
Very proud.
That's
They're
nice.
very proud.
That's
And in
nice.
fact, my mom has come with me to
Oh.
Pondicherry as my
On a
parents.
bike.
Yes, on a bike.
Wow. Oh, that's an achievement.
Yeah,
That's
on
an
this
achievement.
bike. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, fantastic.
So somewhere I really felt that there was a lot of struggle to get the bikes. But once I got the bike, they saw my passion and they were encouraging.
You were determined.
So they did
It's
appreciate
interesting
me on
you
that.
say that, because the other day I spoke to Ajit right in episode 1, and he probably will be embarrassed when I say this, but I'm not trying to embarrass him. In fact, I felt so nice. He's a guy who's about maybe 30, 32 years old, whatever it is. Not that age matters. But what he said was really nice. He says, if you guys want to do enduro, adventure, biking, gain the trust and confidence of your parents first. Because he said something really nice. He said that when the chips are down, when something goes wrong, they're the only people who are by your side. So I think it's a great thing that you were able to kind of win them over. Yeah. So tell us about relatives. You were talking about relatives. So tell me relatives' reaction.
So actually, one incident where I was in Pondi. And my mom, my parents, everybody knew. So wherever I go, I keep my parents informed. I share the numbers, I share the locations.
Right.
So when I was in Pondi, my aunt called my mom and said, "Hey, do you know where your daughter is? She's in Goa partying." My mom was like, because she had that one trust on me and I always kept them informed. She said, "No, I know where my daughter is and it's in Pondi and it's okay if even she's in Goa."
Right.
So I had gained that trust over my parents and I was very happy that they took my back. Even till today, my dog tag has my dad's number.
Nice.
And he had actually deactivated this number, but he saw me wearing it for one of the rides, and he immediately went and got the number activated. Yeah, so
that's your emergency contact details, blood group, and all that stuff. Fantastic. That's nice. So I don't want to flip to yoga yet. I want to talk a little bit more about your biking. So what's the most memorable ride you've done?
Well, there's so many coming in right now, but I think the most memorable was Ladakh for sure, because it was total unexpected.
You did Ladakh in 2018. 18. Yeah. It was still not a parking lot.
Not yet.
It was not yet.
I was very happy that I got that time where it had not become so commercialized. So there is one stretch that I think goes from Diskut to Hundar. It's a beautiful stretch. So I have just come down from Snowside, and there's white sand.
Which month did you do this in?
July.
July. Okay.
Yeah, it's the beginning of July, end of June and beginning of July. So it was beautiful. Like I could experience all the seasons, and very brief point of time there was rain also.
Wow.
So that stretch was beautiful. There was nobody around. It was just me and my bike in the whole stretch. Beautiful road it was, both sides white sand. That is one of the very beautiful, memorable.
When we were talking the other day over coffee, you did, if I'm not wrong, you said you actually even did water crossings and stuff on this bike?
Yes, on this same bike, Avenger, which is a cruiser, 220cc. I did the water crossings. They are called as Pagal Nalas, and I did it on my own. So I was not expecting my bike to do all that, but there was a guy who had done Spiti on Avenger itself. Okay. So that's where I got the confidence that mera bike bhi kar lega. Even I can do it, because I really feel that comfort on a bike is very important than whatever engine or whatever brand you're riding. Right. You need to get that comfort. If the comfort is not there, it becomes very difficult even for your mind. It starts stressing. So in such areas when the altitude is so high, it starts to play games on your mind. So for those places, physically you have to get very comfortable. And it's secluded, and you're riding long hours. Yeah. And it gets dark very early. Yes. So what's the longest ride that you've done in a day? How many kilometers have you covered in a day? I think in a day I have covered about 1,000 kilometers from Kanyakumari to Mysore. Wow. That's 1,000 kilometers? Yeah. Really? Yeah. Okay. All right. This one stretch, but I came via Bangalore. Okay. Because I had my friends staying in Bangalore, so we took that Salem stretch and we came. Nice. So in one day, I think that's the longest I've covered. Fantastic. So more on Leh Ladakh. So that was how long? How long was that trip? 15 days. 15 days, yeah. Wow, that's nice. So what is the next long trip you have planned? Okay, so as I said, just couple of states more and I'm done with India. So I think the next trip that always been in my mind is India. It's a cross country ride, is what I am planning.
Right.
India, Thailand, Myanmar.
Wow.
So that stretch is what I want to take.
Stop, you shouldn't say this because I had this, well, I actually had this plan of bicycling from India to Vietnam.
Uh-huh.
So it was 3,500 kilometers and 6 bicyclists. It was all pretty much done, and then for whatever reason. So, but tell me, so when are you planning to do this?
Whenever I get sponsorship.
Okay, so what is your advice on safety? There's two. One is road safety. The other is biker safety. And what is your advice for people when they ride on the roads? I saw you riding, and I saw that you're extremely comfortable in the saddle. You can almost tell from the posture in the saddle and the way they kind of ride. You can tell very, very clearly. So you're very comfortable. So I think it'll be a great for people to kind of hear from you about two aspects. One is rider safety, and the other one is road safety. So if you can touch upon that and give us some.
So first, when I started biking, I had no idea about helmets, knee guards, and all of that. So I went for a ride with just a regular jacket, winter jacket. Then I saw all the other bikers who had geared up so much. Somewhere I felt, is it needed? So much of safety and everything. Then I saw a friend of mine take a fall, and his fall was saved only because of his riding gear.
Right.
And let me stress on good riding gear, because for the impact that he took, the grade A armors is what protected him, very frankly. So, very frank, I would say that invest in good riding gears, because you really really need it, because when you take a fall, this is what is going to protect you. Later on, hospital bill and everything is again secondary, and also, yeah, something was wrong, it's very hard to fix it. So better, prevention is better than cure. So good riding gears, along with which comfort is important. So we should try out before buying. Starting, you have to get into the riding gears. But yeah, it is very, very, very important. Wherever I go, I'm always fully armed, especially long rides. My knee guards are there, my boots are there, riding jacket which has the armors inside, and a very good helmet. Somewhere, I really feel people neglect a good standard helmets, and they go for fancy ones,
right,
which looks good. So
so you use a
riding
full
gear
face, you don't use modular?
Not at all. I use a full face, because when you fall, jaw really takes the impact, and it's just for the short rides in Mysore. For the camera, I have a half face one only for the shoots, but apart from that, always a full face
to show your pretty face. Okay, all right. Have you had any falls on this bike, or any thrills, spills, excitement, adrenaline rush?
So when I was doing Northeast, as I told, Nagaland roads are really bad. If at least roads are not there, it's okay. You can go off-roading type. But when I went, they had put that big stones, jallikal, what we say, which was making my bike sink totally. So over there, I remember 3 times I just fell like that. The bike fell, I was standing. Right. So only such kind of fall I've had, but touch wood, God's grace, I haven't had any accidents.
You won't have any. All right, great. So that's about gear. So tips when you're riding on the road. So we spoke about this in episode 1 as well, where Ajit had a take on how bikers need to conduct themselves, and I was kind of giving him my own personal experience. So I'll share this again to get your take on it. So when I drove a car, I had a very different way of how I would deal with bikers, cyclists, anybody a lesser creature than a four-wheeler creature, right? When I started riding a bicycle, then I became God and everybody else became the minions, right? All the four-wheelers were the culprits. When I got into a motorcycle, then again, now I can look at it from the perspective of a cyclist, which is not a powered vehicle, a motorcycle, which is two wheels, and a four-wheeler, right? And even amongst four-wheelers, you've got the SUVs and so on and so forth. So what is your perspective of how riders are kind of viewed? There's mixed emotions. People either love riders, they hate riders, they don't like the way they ride, or they'll cut, they'll do this, they'll do that. So kind of share your thoughts and your riding philosophy, basically.
So I've been lucky to be in clubs where we ride in formations,
Mm-hmm.
always in a line. You follow the lead and you don't go behind the tail. And also I've been lucky to be in the group where you are allowed to ride in whatever style or whatever speed you want, as long as you're just not crossing the lead and not going behind the tail. And solo, of course. So amongst all these, I really your sense of mind should be on spot when you're riding. And roads are not that overly safe for bikers, I would say. But in India, it's been biking is like, yeah, every, even villagers are there coming on the bike. So that is where you become little. You have to be more cautious, because in one way they are coming opposite to you. So these things, I really feel you have to be very mindful about it. And yeah, dogs on the roads or any animals, to be very frank. If I see a dog there, I slow down right here. I don't care who is like not slowing down, because see, those creatures, they don't understand what is what, and when there are big bikes with heavy sounds, they get disturbed.
They get scared.
And they get scared,
and they
and
bolt.
they don't know.
And they bolt.
They don't know where to go.
They're confused.
Yeah, so slow down, cross the animal aram se and go ahead. Along with this, you have to be lane and everything. You have to be really careful. You have to get good sleep.
So you are a dog lover. You have a dog, right?
I am. Yes, I have a dog. Yeah.
What dog do you have?
It's a black Labrador. His name is Krishna.
Oh, nice.
I wish I could make him as my pillion, and he would be more for my safety also.
Have you seen that biking video where this guy has a dog on the bike and he wears a pair of? Oh, that's really
in fact,
sweet.
A friend of mine also has a dog.
Uh-huh.
With marriage. He got married and he stopped doing it.
Oh.
He used to have his dog come with him. He had made a whole setup on the
Wow.
bike. He got his inspiration from some American YouTuber who had done the same, and he got the army cover and everything for the dog.
Nice.
And she was completely secure inside. And the guy we are talking about is open.
Right.
This guy is full caged cover, so she can put her head out aram se. At the same time, she has her own safety. It was beautifully done. Very Maybe nice. Some one day I will too.
Okay, that's about biking. So do you prefer the trails? Do you prefer the flats? Do you prefer the hills? What's your favorite? What's your real passion of riding? Or you just ride any terrain? You just want to get on the bike? Well,
I have ridden all terrains in Avenger itself.
Yeah.
So that somewhere I feel an off-roader can make me more better in my off-roading pathways, because I somewhere feel I lag a bit because of a cruiser. Right. But then they say, it's rider, not the ride. But not so much. See, when I'm on a cruiser, I'm on a cruise.
The bike has limitations. You can't push a bike on a certain kind of road. I've experienced that. So, for example, for this, I kind of changed to Pirellis so that I could do a little bit of soft roading, if not off-roading. And I found that it was very helpful, but beyond the point, you can't push the bike. Because it's just not meant. The geometry is just not meant for that kind of terrain. Yes. Let's talk a little bit about yoga. So, this is a girl who started yoga from the age of 4.
4 years.
That's amazing. So talk to us about yoga.
Well, my family has always been into yoga. Like, I have 2 aunts who are in Ayurveda, and my mom is also a yoga teacher. Back then when I started, she was not a yoga teacher. It first started at home. My mom used to do, I would copy.
4 years old, mom yoga teacher.
Yeah. So my mom used to practice, and I would just copy her at home. That's how it first began. And then we had school day in my school when I was in LKG. So that time I used to be very good, it seems. I used to be like excellent in yoga, exceptional. So the teachers who would teach me told to my parents that, she's really good in yoga, so why don't you put her to our classes? That's how the yoga journey began. I started going for competitions. And when I was 9 years old, I went to Portugal, and I represented India, and I won bronze medal also.
9 years old?
9 years old.
9 years
International yoga competition.
Wow.
Yeah.
But okay, doing yoga for yourself, what prompted you to become a yoga instructor or yoga teacher?
I didn't have in my mind to become a yoga teacher at all. If you would ask me when I was maybe 15, what would you want to become? I had like a list of things, what I want to become. But then, they say destiny. It pulled me towards yoga. One time, as I told you, my mom is a yoga teacher. So one day she had to go to Haridwar for a camp. For 15 days, she was not here. So I had to handle her classes.
Right.
So she asked me to substitute for her. And that was the time when I went and I substituted for her very easily. So after she came back, she got very good reviews, and they wanted me to come twice a week for them.
Right.
For her students. So I felt,
Nice.
okay, so I am really good in teaching. That's when I understood that, yeah, I am good in teaching than just a practitioner.
Right.
So that brought me towards yoga as a career.
Mm.
And also I saw all people so much struggling in their work life. So I felt somewhere, yeah, this is going to balance my work life and my mental life and my personal life also. Because yoga, of course, gives you very good health, mental health, physical health. So this helped me to balance that out.
So let's talk about something maybe, well, could be construed as, how should I say, controversial. But I'm going to say it anyway. And I have this one particular friend who always laughs when I bring up yoga as a topic in any podcast, any talk, any discussion, any interview. So I have very confirmed views and we kind of shared views. So I'm not going to rat on my views first, but I'm going to let you go. So there are a lot of yoga shalas, a lot of yoga instructors, a lot of yoga schools. And well, I'll let the cat out of the bag. So so to kind of introduce this. So I believe that the way they teach is actually not yoga at all. It's just another physical fitness class. It's as good as going to a gym.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I'm not a specialist, but this is a clear view because I've read enough to know that what yoga is all about, even though I'm not a practitioner. So my view could be biased because of lack of knowledge, but you clearly are knowledgeable. So I'm going to throw this open. So I know you have a similar opinion, but I'd like you to share. What is yoga really? Demystify that. Because I find that anybody goes to a yoga class and there's Om Bhurbhuva Swaha and the Gayatri Mantra, and that's the end of that's the only philosophical side that the yoga shalas usually teach. And I'm not saying all of them, but generally speaking. And it's more an exercise form. It could be Pilates, it could be as good as anything else. So please talk to us about that. I think it'll be interesting for people to know.
See, first, so when we say I'm doing yoga, we are all wrong. We are only doing asanas. So yoga has to include the Ashtanga yoga, which is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi.
Thoda slowly. Phir se bolo.
Yeah. So when we say yoga, yoga includes the 8 limbs. Ashtanga yoga is what we say, which is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi.
Translate each one of them now.
You need another episode.
No, just the transliteration.
Yeah. So Yama is your social conduct.
Mm-hmm.
Niyama is your personal conduct.
Right.
How you're with yourself.
Niyam, rules, regulations.
Yeah. How, not lying to anybody, ahimsa, not stealing. So all these are Yama and Niyamas. And then comes Asana. What we all do. The physical postures is Asana.
Right.
And then we come to Pranayama.
Right.
All the breathing techniques is Pranayama. So see here, Asana comes before Pranayama because you are getting your body ready for another exercise, which is Pranayama, breathing exercise, which needs more physical fitness because see, Pranayama, you need to keep your back straight. And how will you get your back straight is practice of yoga asanas. Then comes Pratyahara, which is controlling of your senses.
Right.
I want to go eat pizza right now, but no. So you're controlling your sense there. Right now I have to...
You know why I'm laughing. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So the practice of controlling your senses is Pratyahara. And then is Dharana, which is concentration. So whenever we sit for meditation and so I'm doing Dhyana, no, you are doing Dharana. Now Dharana into 100 becomes meditation, which is Dhyana. And then following...
When you say Dharana into 100.
Yeah.
So what does that? What do you mean?
Dharana is concentration. You're focusing.
So what is 100?
Into 100. So the focusing
repetition.
What you're doing, no. Multiplying your focus into 100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Magnifying your focus into the 100 times of whatever you're doing now.
Oh, okay.
That is Dhyana.
Got it.
And then when you follow these 7, you will by default lead to the 8.
So Samadhi, we were talking about Samadhi. So Samadhi, normally when people, he took Samadhi, this Guruji took Samadhi, this Swamiji. So Samadhi is not, it's a blissful state.
It's a blissful state.
Okay.
Samadhi is just a blissful state. And again, that blissful state also you end up, once you're there, you end up going to the higher state of Samadhi itself, which is not sadness, not happiness.
Equipoised.
Yeah, you're there. You're just there.
Right.
So this is yoga. So when you say I'm doing yoga, are you really doing all of these things? I'm doing asanas. Right. This is what has happened, in Mysore. different areas, you have different kinds of yoga that you will see.
Correct.
When you come to Gokulam, the hub of Mysore, the yoga hub of Mysore, it is.
I'm sure you're very, very unpopular / popular.
Yes. Whenever somebody asks me, when I tell them I'm a yoga teacher, they ask me, "Oh, what kind of yoga do you teach?"
So talk about style. So when we're talking about Ashtanga and all of this, so talk about what's the difference between styles of yoga, and they've got Bikram yoga, this yoga, that yoga. So which is that yoga where you do it under very high temperature?
That is Bikram yoga, hot temperature yoga.
Right.
So see, we all follow Patanjali Yoga Sutras. That is the traditional yoga.
Right.
That is how we have got yoga, Patanjali being the father of yoga.
Right.
So if you see the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, they have told that you have to do yoga in a very normal room temperature environment. So it shouldn't be too hot, it shouldn't be too cold. So you shouldn't put fans, ACs. That is the rule. Niyama, that is the rule. And when you are doing yoga at such a high temperature, you're breaking the very rule of yoga.
So I've heard. I used to have a colleague in the US when I was in this bank, and she would do this. And when I asked why, she said it's to make you more flexible. Is that
you can get flexible? You can lose weight in any form of workouts. But then if you're breaking the rule of a certain workout, then it can lead to a lot of hazards later. There are a lot of side consequences. The high temperature yoga is not good for your heart at all. And even the flexibility what you'll be gaining there, you come out of the hot temperature, you will lose it.
So if I'm not wrong, yoga is to control, to slow down your heart rate, to become more peaceful, right? Yes. So obviously if the temperature is higher, your heart rate is going to be, you'll be sweating profusely and so on. Okay, all right, got it. So now something that I have heard and I believe. So the connect between yoga and Ayurveda.
Yoga is a part of Ayurveda because even in the medical studies, if you take Ayurvedic college, third years have yoga, third years have asanas. So it goes hand in hand. Because when we say the Patanjali mantra, a lot of people these days are not teaching Patanjali mantra.
Which is?
It is Yogena Chittasya, Padena Vacha, Malam Sharirasya, Chavaidhyakena, Yopa Karotam, Pravaram Muninam, Patanjalim Pranjali Ranatosmi.
Right.
So Patanjali, we are bowing down to him because of and we call him as Maharishi because of his three major contributions. One being asanas, yogasanas, because that will help to purify the mind.
Right.
Another being Ayurveda. He has given Ayurveda also. So that is to purify the body.
Right.
And then Sanskrit grammar to purify the speech. Vak. So he has given us all these three practices to purify our entire system. So there itself you have yoga and Ayurveda going hand in hand.
So now I'm going to ask you something. I think I've seen you mention this in one of your videos, but I'm not sure. But I draw parallels of life with sport. I can draw parallels with any possible sport. And the one that I normally do it is life and American football. So that's a game that I really relate to. But I could relate it to cricket or anything else. So tell me your balance or connect or overlaps between yoga and biking.
Okay.
You did a video on that, right?
Just yesterday.
Oh, is it? Okay, then that's you. Okay,
yes.
Okay.
So just yesterday itself, I had posted a reel where I'm sitting on a bike and I'm meditating. So
that's the one.
Yeah, I am getting merging the both because what I do on the mat, the peace what I get, the focus what I have is the same what I feel when I'm on the bike and I'm on the road. So you need that alertness where while you're riding, it's the same alertness while you're meditating. And also there's a video where I've done yoga for bikers.
Okay.
Because bikers, I have seen so many friends of mine always complaining about back pain. Back pain, neck pain, helmet. So there are asanas which help you to fight all those.
Right.
So I feel these two go hand in hand. They go parallel. They overlap. Especially in my life, when I say someone I'm a yoga teacher and I ride a bike, they say, "Oh, they are so two different things."
They're not.
Yeah, they are very, very, very similar.
They're just two different forms that you're kind of expressing yourself. Because the way I see it, the bike is actually becomes an extension of myself, and I personally feel that. I feel that connect. The world's left behind. I've got my music. I've got the open road. I've got the scenery. So yes, I think I can totally relate to what you're saying. There's a lot more, and that probably will be a completely different episode, which I think we
Yeah.
can do at some point.
So in 11 years of my biking, starting I used to get a lot of different view on the road.
Mhm.
When I would stop at the signal, people would look at me like as I'm doing some crime on the road.
Dacoit,
Yeah.
lady dacoit, not on a horse, on a bike.
Yes. But then of late it has slowly changed. I'm very happy for that. But I think it needs to take more change. People need to get that more awareness and be acceptance of a woman being a biker, riding a bike. A bike doesn't know what your gender you are. And one incident like that is when police, they were catching
Mhm.
for helmets, basically for helmets only. But I had my helmet on, but still amongst all people with helmets, they only stopped me.
Right,
And they rechecked my DL also.
right.
They actually confirmed whether it's with gas license or not.
Oh,
So, but then he just let me go
this was in Mysore?
in Mysore only. But when I went to take my DL, the inspector there was very encouraging, and he just said, very good that you're doing this, but be careful. There are a lot of hooligans on the road
Right,
who might like try to chase you down and everything.
right,
So I got both views,
right.
both ways. And also in my biking, in this 11 years of my biking, my riders now, my club members do not see me as a women rider. They just see me as a rider. I'm very happy to take this transition. But at the same time, we need to give that extra space for women riding, because we do struggle a lot to get a bike, to come on the road, to convince our families, which not everyone, but most men don't see that struggle.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I know. Again, that's why I said most. There are a lot of guys who struggle, because see, at home everybody will care
Risk.
for their children.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
don't
yeah,
want to put their children in danger. Biking is always danger. Two-wheeler car lekar jao.
So why do we do it?
Just safety. They're scared.
No, why do we ride? Why do we ride a two-wheeler when it's dangerous?
Yeah, it's you get happiness.
But isn't that then a conflict? Yoga being peaceful, and on the other side, this thrill seeker, this adventure, this risk taker.
Yeah.
Isn't that a conflict?
It is, but then again, what is the end result? I'm happy.
Okay.
That is what all matters. I said, we all are seeking happiness. We all are running behind only one thing, which is happiness and peace. With happiness, peace will come by default. We're just finding it in different ways. Yes. So when I'm on the mat, I'm there, working on myself. When I'm on the bike, I'm working on myself. And I get that, my whole every day is like so busy with yoga. I get this space, a little jump out. Right. But at the end result, for me, it's the same. It's still the same. So what's your daily schedule like? Oh, I start very early. So I start about 5:30 in the morning. I have back-to-back classes. I take personal classes, therapeutic based. So I go to their home and I teach yoga based on their particular problem. Right. I teach in a gym, so it's like more they are into physical fitness, because I try to bring them towards a little bit of mental fitness. Right. They're like, Mom, we want to sweat. Yeah, but then again, the therapeutic side is that I customize their classes based on their issue. Right. And I teach in a school also. Right. Where kids, I focus more on concentration, improving their balance, because kids, they are very hyper. They want to just jump around. So I think for them, introducing more of dhyana meditation in early stages is very good to calm them down, to center them. Right. So I start like that. I end about 12:30 is when I actually have my brunch also. So I don't eat anything in the morning. So I eat twice, two meals a day. And again, I start off at 3 o'clock and I end up at 7 o'clock. This takes my time, my every day. Yeah. And weekends you go and ride sometimes? Most of the weekends I try to push myself towards rides. But if I have a long ride coming in, then I save those weekends and I take extra classes so that I can compensate those classes. So what is your YouTube channel called for? It's Kanchana Ganga 7. That's my YouTube channel, yeah. Or short, if you search as Kanchana Ganga Yoga, you will get me. But that's not your Insta handle. Insta handle is Kanchana Ganga. Kanchana Ganga. Yeah. I have a separate channel for yoga, which is not much touched, which is called Mysuru Yogini. Right. Yeah, but my major thing is Kanchana Ganga. Very nice. Excellent. So I know a lot of people who are sitting at homes, not riding out just because they are scared. I really think that they should come out of that fear and just step onto the road, because I swear the world is very beautiful. It is not as bad as you have seen in TVs or heard from people. You should go out and explore, because We are not trees. Trees will stay in the place. We have legs. So go out, explore the world. It is really worth it. You'll come across so many different people. Yes, good and bad is always there. Two sides of the coin, no matter where you go. So might as well go to a place or places where you will experience beautiful people and beautiful countries and cities, ethnicities, food.
Hmm.
So go and explore. Don't just sit at home and life is very short. Life is very short. Trust me, life is very short. Don't waste it, sitting at home.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sparing the time, Kanchana.
No,
We
thank you
are
so much
we are
for
going to
having me
do
here.
a follow up at some time,
Okay.
and keep us posted with what you do and tag us so we can make people more aware. I think we need more people like you very clearly, and to A, demystify yoga, B, be an inspiration to women and girl riders and guys as well for that matter. 200,000 kilometers is not small by any stretch of the imagination, especially when you've done solo and you've done your water crossings and everything on the Avenger,
Cruiser.
on the
Yes.
cruiser. Have you given your bike a name? No.
Oh yes, of course.
What is
She's
your
called as Knight's Princess. Knight with a K. Knight's
Knight
Princess.
Knight's Princess?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. Very cool. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's
Yeah.
a wrap.
Yes.